Started recording. Welcome back to Milk and Whiskey, where we're gonna get a tall glass of recovery with some humor. Hopefully, I got a buddy here, James. So, James, how is So what I usually do is I'm bringing this platform for people to access different stories of recovery. People at different points of recovery. So, tell us a little bit about yourself as I mute my phone.
Well, let's see. My sobriety date is July 17th of 2006. So I've been around for a little bit. Um, and for those who don't know me, let's see, I've been married for 25 years. That's 3 years to the first ex-wife, 12 years with the second, and the rest with this one. So you might not want to ask me about marital advice.
So how much is it with this one?
12.
12, okay. Because you say the rest. I'm like, I don't want to do the math.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to either.
Yeah.
That's all right. They say third time's the charm, but I really don't think so. I think it's really the first time in sobriety
Yeah.
because while some people, while they say they're allergic to alcohol, they break out in handcuffs.
Yeah, yeah.
I break out in wedding bells.
Damn. Mm, So that was you say you break out on wedding bells, so like getting to a point in sobriety where you just like what, you just find somebody and marry them? Or
No, no, not at all. What happened was, and I believe this to be true. I believe what happened with me was I was looking for somebody to fix me. I bought into that whole, you need somebody else to make you whole.
yeah.
But what I didn't know at the time is I needed to be a whole human being. I need to be the whole person. I needed to be able to bring something to the table. Somebody's not going to fix me. Somebody can compliment and I can compliment the other person, but I cannot be fixed by another human being. No human power.
Yeah, yeah. No human power. So I would say, how was the give me a little bit of what it was like before you got sober.
Same as just about everybody else. I drank way too much. Um, and
Did you do drugs at all?
no, I don't think so. I'm a black I am a blackout drinker, and I really don't know. I just on my very first drunk, I was at my Uncle Leo's wedding, and
How old were you?
about 14, 15, so about 14, I think,
Okay.
and my new cousin Jimmy said, "Hey, would you like some champagne?" I said, "Well, what's that?" He said, "It's like adult soda, you'll get used to it."
Mm,
Well, by my 3rd cup, I pretty much got used to it,
yeah.
and I really enjoyed myself, and I would say for the first 4 years, I would tell everybody that I drank. My first drunk was on champagne. Uh, then you did the toilet paper and everything to my uncle's car, and they drove off and had a good time. Well, when I was 4 years sober, I had a conversation with my father, and he told me about something that happened 2 to 3 hours after my uncle left. And that was when I found out my very first drunk was a blackout.
Mm,
And I can't tell you if I had different types of liquors because apparently I blacked out.
yeah.
And that was a pretty big shock. All those
Did you
years.
find out what did he tell you what happened?
No, it didn't tell, well, no, the story wasn't about me. It was something that happened 2 to 3 hours after my uncle left. My recollection was as soon as he left, we went home.
Oh, what did he tell you that you missed out on?
Oh, I don't know, it was some family stuff.
Oh, okay.
It was really unimportant. It's
Oh,
just the
okay.
fact that it was something that occurred 2 to 3 hours after I
He's like, "You don't remember this?" He's like, "No, we went home, dude."
No, like I said, it had nothing to do with me. So he just went on with the story, because it just whatever. So my story changes a lot as I get sober,
Yeah.
or at the longer that I'm sober, because I find out things. Well, one, little pieces of information like that, and two, it's perspective.
Yeah.
Like my second drunk, now I waited. I'm a late bloomer. I was about 19 with the second drunk.
Mm,
And I'm 90% sure that I lost my virginity that night.
mm.
Not sure. There was some movement. S- Things happened with my face. There was some tongue movement or something, but I really don't. I could
Things
have.
happen through your face.
Things happened to my face.
So,
So
but so between 14 and 19, you didn't do.
didn't do anything.
But how was that like? Because if you're an alcoholic, right, you're restless and irritable and discontent,
Well, I
no?
believed,
Or
well, thing is, not every alcoholic is exactly the same.
yeah,
We become that. As a matter of fact, in the book, it refers to people who believe that they could have quit while there was still time.
yeah,
We can't prove it because you'd have to go back in time to prove it. You
yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah,
But there are people we respond differently. Now, I thought I was, a teenager. Teenagers are all restless and irritable and discontent from what I
yeah,
can
yeah,
tell. I don't know. I because I have no life to compare it to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what happened with me was on my second drunk when that happened, and I wound up and I knew that was a big black/brown out. I knew that because, I found the girl's name in my phone in my wallet, and I went to meet her, and well, let's put it this way, if I was gonna lose my virginity, she would not have made the top 300.
Yeah.
Now here's the deal, here's how things change.
But why wouldn't she have made the top 300?
Appearance.
Okay.
But here's honest, but here's the deal. Had I stuck around, she would have been stuck with an acerbic, abrasive, arrogant, angry, let's face it, all roads are leading here, abusive
Yeah,
alcoholic. So really, who wound up with the wrong person?
yeah, but you you almost lost your or may have not lost your virginity to someone that you probably wouldn't have done anything with anybody else's pecker, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, there tends to be a little bit of a pattern with that story.
Yeah. Damn.
And I was just and then, I just thing is, bad things didn't really happen that often, but when you add it up through the years, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. So when did you become like when did you start drinking alcoholically? I would say like
Well, there's arguments to be said that I began when I first blacked out, when I
okay,
first
well,
drunk.
I'm saying like I would say
You
not
mean
alcoholic, let's say
often?
very so often, to where you felt like you needed to stop.
Oh, well, it really kind of exploded when I moved to Florida.
Uh,
Um,
oh, you're not from here?
I'm from Baltimore.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and my aunt Sharon lived down here, and she said it was great. So I moved down. I had family, location cure.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
maybe things will be better down there.
How I
And
thought I can get clean cocaine in Colombia.
yeah, because down here
Like
in
I
Florida,
would say clean, but I'm like clean in my mind would say cocaine.
well, I'm just saying that rum down here flows a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I discovered the rum runner. And I always say that I had three friends when I moved to Florida: Ron Rico, Palo Viejo, and Bacardi. Because when I couldn't afford the Bacardi, I have Ron Rico and Palo Viejo, and they came in little plastic containers.
Those were older people drinks, right? Because I only know Bacardi.
I don't know. It was cheap, and I could get a lot of it,
Oh, okay.
a lot of it. And yep, met my second wife in a bar. Go figure. And yeah, it got pretty dark after a while with the marriage. She's an active alcoholic. I don't think she's ever stopped.
Mm,
As a matter of fact, when we got divorced, I wound up with 100% custody of both our daughters. The oldest one not being mine biologically, nor was I allowed to adopt. The biological father trying to get back in the picture, and I still got 100% custody.
mm,
And that was after and that was even after I had been arrested because with her, I was arrested with an assault and battery domestic.
So, how did you wind up with the 100%?
Well,
Here in Florida?
here in Florida,
What did she do? Like,
assault and battery domestic against me and assault and battery domestic against the oldest daughter, and she wound up getting convicted.
oh, okay.
And eventually, she just moved out of state. I think she's in San Francisco right now.
Alright.
And while I'm in this area, San Francisco is a good place for her. But and the thing is, I want to make this perfectly clear. Anything that I have to say about her, she's not a bad person.
Yeah, of course.
She's an alcoholic.
Yeah, that doesn't make us bad people.
No, the only difference is I received the blessings of sobriety, and as far as I know, she has not.
Yeah.
And if she hasn't done her ninth step with me. So
Yeah. If you're out there, you still James and Rose.
I just, to be honest, if she got sober,
Yeah.
that would make amends for me.
Yeah, that would be enough, right?
I would just like to know it.
Yeah.
And I told both the kids many times because I think it's important that we that we handle the children in a way that is not harmful to them. I let them both know that their mother's a good person, and if she ever sobers up, please give her a chance. I didn't say take her back, so give her a chance because it's up to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest thing to biggest amends to that we have to make is towards our children.
Correct.
Yeah, and making that living amends of, like, never go like, doing anything we can to never go back, right?
Right. Well, I look at it this way. We make our amends, and then after that, I personally, and like I said, this is a personal thing. I know I've heard differently in the rooms. I don't believe they're living amends.
Yeah,
I believe they're just continuing to do the thing we're supposed to do.
yeah. But what if whenever you made your amends, that person says when you ask them, "I just want you to stay clean and sober," right?
Mhm.
So then you staying clean and sober and doing everything you can to stay clean and sober is making a continuous amends, right?
Well, that's continuing to do what's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Now, thing is, I mean, and it, I used to be one of those. Can't anybody see how hard I'm working at being sober? No, they can't.
Well, nobody cares
And
because everybody else is drunk.
well,
Well,
if I tell my dad, when I told my dad that I was sober for 4 years, he's like, "Yeah, so's the dog." He doesn't really care. As a matter of fact, and 4 years, the reason why that pops in my head, it took 4 years before my father gave any indication that he trusted me.
mm,
Took 4 years because the man has a brain in his head.
yeah, yeah. Well, you didn't get sober until what age?
41.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense to not.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter that I'm a leopard trying to change his spots.
yeah,
And for the most part, a leopard can't change his spots, but in Alcoholics Anonymous, a leopard can if they hurt bad enough. They got to hit something. I don't know what that something is. It's different for everybody. But see, my bottom is the same as your bottom, is the same as everybody else's bottom that's listening. It's all the same. It's when you can't take it anymore.
yeah. I can't take that anymore. When you've crossed enough things off the list.
Right. And the only other bottom I can think of, which is worse, would have been like my Uncle Ron.
Mm.
Now, he's not really my Uncle Ron. He's my half cousin's wife's father up in Michigan. He was an ex-Marine or got out of the Marine Corps. And at one point, he took a shotgun, put it underneath of his chin, pulled the trigger, blew the top of his skull off.
His face too, or just the top of his
Top
skull?
of his skull.
So he still kept his face,
He kept his face, but the top of his skull went. And
but he didn't die.
no, he didn't die. As a matter of fact, when he did die, he had almost 20 years sobriety.
Uh,
It took him blowing his brains out I usually don't like to compare bottoms, but that one's pretty low.
Yeah.
I never got to the point where I put a gun to my head to pull the trigger, and that is pretty low.
Yeah.
And I remember he died before I got sober, and many times I remember him saying that he was grateful for so many things, that the only things he could count are his kids and his grandkids.
Yeah.
And I always thought he was a little cracked, because he's missing half his brain. It's a Rorschach test on the ceiling of a hotel in Michigan. But
So
the longer I'm sober, the more I think Uncle Ron had it going on.
yeah.
So he kind of 12 stepped me without even, I don't think he knew that I was an alcoholic.
Mm,
I mean, I was drinking like the rest of the people in the family.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure he probably knew he was 12 stepping and he just didn't know it.
Possible.
It's
It's possible.
possible, yeah.
It's possible.
You know, you brought me to this thought. Um, so before I ever got sober, I had this conversation with my son, and he thought it was his fault to why I was no longer in his life. You know, he thought, I mean, at the age of 3 or 4, like what what could have been going through his brain to where he thought that it was something he did or to why I wasn't in his life. And I wasn't in his life because I chose to leave. I chose to go to Colombia and I chose to and then his mom chose to move to a different state. Whenever I came back, I mean, there was just certain things in play to where I wasn't stable enough nor ready to have that fight of custody or whether she should come back, or I didn't put up a fight. And the conversation went like, "Daddy just gave me one more chance," you know? And I'm like, that him saying that saved my life because the first time I wanted to commit suicide it was in Colombia, a drug addict's heaven, and I was done. I'm like, I don't want this anymore. And I didn't know how to stay sober, and I was at the edge of a because I was in the mountains in Colombia. I was at the edge of the cliff, and I was about to jump, and that conversation came to my mind. That was God saving me because I didn't want my son to grow up without a father. And then the second time was, I was back here and I was working and I was using my mom for a place to stay, still getting high and didn't know what to do. I found a gun on a crack binge. I pull up to it was the owner of the moving, like the furniture company that I used to work for. I pull up to her house to like I would maintain her lawn, and I found a gun and I sat there and I was about to pull the trigger. I was about to blow my brains out, just like your uncle.
Mhm.
And that thought came to my head again. I was like, Daddy just gave me one more chance. And like hindsight being 2020, it was almost like me as a 3-year-old in my spirit calling up to God, Daddy gave me one more chance. But it was like in my son's voice. It was just I don't know, I was in like a weird state of psychosis. I don't know. But that day I just wept, cried all day, and while I'm mowing this lady's lawn, like just like it's like,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah,
Crying at inappropriate times, I know.
yeah. It's like, why is he crying while trimming the bushes?
I ran over a kitty cat.
It's just like I can't stop smoking crack.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was a day. That those two conversations, that conversation. I tell him, I was like, you saved my life. He knows that. But still, that now,
Well, I believe, and this has been my experience, I truly believe that God sometimes talks to us through other people, and when it comes to us, we don't even know that it's happening sometimes.
uh,
And when it sticks in your head like that, it was meant for you to hear.
Yeah.
So with your son, I would think that that was important enough for you to hear to have you turn your life around. Now, you could have rejected it
Yeah.
because we have free will. God gives us free will. We're on this planet for only one reason only, and that is to be with God or not be with God. That's it. So when sometimes in the voice of a child, sometimes in the you never know when it comes from.
Yeah.
I had an experience back in it's probably 1989 or 90, and I'm flipping the channels on a television set. I have no idea I'm an alcoholic. Never entered my mind. And I flip to this one channel and hits this interview. And it comes, and I'm not going to tell you who it is because alcoholics are resentful people. And there's going to be people who are going to hear that name and go, I hate that son of a biscuit.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to listen. But
It
I
wasn't
heard
the name, it wasn't the messenger, it was the message.
it was the message. And this man was a very famous person. Not only did Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, Mikhail Gorbachev, the Pope, not only did they know who he was, they knew him. They all had met this man. He's very important behind the scenes kind of guy. And he had an interview and he was asked what was America's greatest contribution to the world. And without hesitation, he said Alcoholics Anonymous. And the interviewer was just flustered, like, well, what about the MRI? What about this? What about that? And this man said, those things save men's lives. Alcoholics Anonymous saves the souls of men.
Yeah.
And then very timidly, the interviewer said, are you a member? He goes, no. and, and instantly the interviewer's okay, that's it, and changed the subject. But that stuck with me.
Yeah.
Why did I change the channel that day? Why did I hear that? Now, for me, I admire the man. Other
Yeah.
people out there probably hate his guts. And no, they do hate his guts. I know they do. To this day, alcoholics are a resentful bunch, me included. But the thing is, that was the message that wasn't a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, had no idea of it, but Alcoholics Anonymous saves the souls of men. And and by the way, and I will say this too, my first silver chip or white chip, whatever you want to call it, it's
Yeah.
my only one. I joined Alcoholics Anonymous once,
One Chip Wonder?
one chip wonder. And on top of, and I say that not because I did anything in particular. I'm saying this because it can be done.
Yeah.
I met a guy not too long ago, 1978, one chip wonder. It just needs to be said. So many people talk about relapse.
Yeah.
It needs to be known there's a lot of people who make it the first time.
Yeah.
I'm not taking credit for it. I mean, this is all through the 12 steps, good sponsorship, bringing me to a God of my understanding that that got me sober. I did not get me sober. I cannot get me sober. I do not have the power. If I had the power, I wouldn't come to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Why would I hang out with you guys?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
That's what I tell people on purpose. I'm like, if I was getting high, why would I come here? Like,
Or if I could control it, why would I
yeah.
be here?
Yeah.
If I could just not do it on my own.
Well, if you can control it and enjoy it, right?
Oh, well, if I could control it and enjoy it, I'd be drinking every day, at least a pint.
Yeah.
If I could control and enjoy it, yeah, that would be my control. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, no, I don't want, no. I know that the idea that I can control and enjoy it is long gone, and I need to keep it long gone.
Yeah. So a very interesting question. There's one of the guys in the in the treatment
Rehab, yeah.
yeah, in Park Place Rehab. He he keeps asking, like, I guess me or like the other person, like whenever I talked about not having the obsession to want to drink or use, right?
Mhm,
That has been like is it's a fleeting thought or whatever. I mean, I answered the question with he last week he asked me about oh, like, oh, when somebody dies, I tend to wanna drink. I'm like, when somebody dies for me, out getting high or drunk is the furthest from my mind. But at the end of a perfect day, there's not a cloud on the horizon,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Milk and whiskey.
Yeah, 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 that's what I'm saying, like, I could be having the perfect day and, like, I'll just be like, "Oh, that'd be nice."
Well, the
And then
answer
it's a fleeting thought, though.
the answer to when is it gonna stop, is that the question?
Well, the question was, like, at what step or when did it happen to where you're not obsessively thinking about alcohol? And I
Oh.
answered so, like, one of the guy today, he was like, "Bro, it just it was lifted. I don't know. I can't tell you when." And I was like, "Hey, this guy's an obsession because he's at 3 years and we're still going through some of the steps. I'm not gonna tell you guys where he's at, but, um"
How could you know? You don't know how God's gonna work in your life. You don't know how it's
Exactly.
gonna work in his.
That's what I
I
said.
didn't know. I had no idea.
That's what I told him. I was like, "You can't base or ask those questions based off of anybody else's experience. You
Sure.
gotta have your own experience with it,
Exactly.
you know? Have you don't live vicariously through my experience." I'm like, "I'm gonna be the one to tell you, hey, I still on occasions think about getting high." And I thank God for those occasions because it keeps my back up against the wall,
Mhm.
right? It keeps me seeking God,
Right.
right? And I'm like, I'm blessed to have those thoughts because if I feel like I can, you know, I'm the type of alcoholic that like, oh, I don't have this problem anymore. Let me go fuck my life up. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that'll
You're like, and it, to me, it doesn't.
that's alcoholic thinking, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I'm not gonna get high. I can get high in any, or I can get drunk in any other way. Other like basically, I look at it like if I'm not using the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous to relieve my irritability, restlessness, or discontentness with life, then I can be getting drunk off of. I mean, there's outside issues, but it's like sugar. I can be getting drunk off of lust. I can be getting drunk off of whatever. You know,
Non-sober thinking, correct.
yeah. It's just, am I using God or am I using?
Well, I think in answer to his question, because he was talking about how's it gonna happen for him, everybody has a different experience. Now, some it's the educational variety where they over time, it just happens, and then one day they kinda go, "Hey, I haven't thought about a drink in 2 weeks. What happened? How'd that happen?"
Yeah,
Then there's other people who have the burning bush, I mean, like a pure sign from God, and, well, I like to call mine a smoldering bush, so mine was different to myself, and I can tell you, I'm one of the few people can tell you exactly when I lost the desire to drink,
okay.
and that was October 20th, 2006, 11:37 AM.
When was it? October what?
20th,
20th,
2006,
2006.
11:37 AM. This is what happened. I got laid off from a job. I was gonna drink. I wasn't gonna call my sponsor. I wasn't gonna do anything it told me in the book. I wasn't gonna do anything that they told me in the rooms. I wasn't gonna call anybody. I wasn't gonna go to the meeting. I wasn't gonna do anything. I was gonna get drunk. And I wound up with a phone call, said, "Okay, I set up an interview for you. You can go down in the same cloud." Same day I got laid off. I wasn't fired. I was laid off. Still felt the same.
Yeah,
And I'm on my way to it, and the one thing in my head that kept me from drinking that I wasn't gonna drink was I knew that if I showed up with alcohol on my breath, I'm not getting hired. And, for God's sake, if you're gonna get drunk, at least have the decency to have a job to pay for it.
yeah, yeah,
See, that was my alcoholism looking out for it. It wanted to be paid for. It
yeah,
wanted me to have the money for it. I'm driving down the road, and, I mean, my brain is going everywhere. I mean, I couldn't hold a thought for more than 2 seconds. It was just back and forth, and I'm driving, and I'm like, "Now how am I gonna get through this? How?" Because I knew I was too squirrely. I knew I was how can you get a job interview when you're sitting here like this, you know?
yeah.
It's just it can't be, it's not gonna happen. And then I'm, like, thinking, and it's just thought. And then, I'm like, well, I was thinking everywhere, and then I heard a voice. It was calm, it was quiet, and I didn't know it at the time, but it was a command. It's just one word. pray. Okay, I'm gonna pray. I'm sitting here going, okay, okay, okay. Serenity. I'm trying to remember the Serenity prayer because I know that's what they say in AA. And I'm saying, Serenity, Serenity, Serenity. It's not coming to my head. I mean, my brain's like Hail Mary, full of grace. No, that's not it. Just losing my mind. And then all of a sudden, I started saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And it was at that moment when I said, Thy will be done. Those words never meant a thing to me. I said them 1,000 times in church. I said them 1,000 times in where when I was supposed to, and I had to do the rosary for penance. I did a lot of penance. Um, and I probably heard it in Latin in the womb. I mean, back in the 60s, they still had the prayers in
Yeah.
in Latin. I started looking around, where to go, where to go, where to go. I didn't realize it, but I was looking for what I was looking for was my obsession to drink. It was gone.
Mhm.
It was just flat out gone. It wasn't softened, it wasn't set aside, it wasn't diminished, it was just gone. It was like a part of me was no longer in me, and that part of me wasn't in a centralized place. It was like it's hard to describe, but it's almost like it had tendrils through me.
Yeah.
It was just gone. I'm looking on the floorboards like an idiot for my for my desire to drink, and I glanced at the clock, it was 11:37 AM.
Mm.
45 minutes later, I had the job, and I called my sponsor, who usually was working that but he was off that particular day. He says, "We need to talk," and I went down and talked to him. And since that day, it hasn't returned. Now, my squirrely thinking didn't go away.
Yeah.
My, my behavior didn't improve a whole heck of a lot at that point, but the obsession was gone.
Mm.
And that, I believe I heard God speak. It's the only time in my
So
life.
the obsession, what about thoughts?
Oh,
Fleet
thoughts. No, they fleeting thoughts. They
Yeah,
pop.
fleeting thoughts. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah.
That'd be
Only,
nice, and then it goes.
no,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, only 90 calories. I think I need to go on a diet.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Down at Universal Theaters, I saw this they had alcohol there, my oldest daughter, it was huge for her. She waited so that I could go with her so that we because Harry Potter was our thing, you know?
Yeah.
So she waited to go she had a chance to go before, but she wanted to go with daddy, which was cool. And, uh and I looked at and I'll go, I wonder how much that is." And I looked at the price of the alcohol, and I'm like, "Pff, not at that price." And I just started laughing to myself. I couldn't afford it if it was
Yeah.
free.
I think about that even when it comes to cigarettes. I'm like, I look at a pack of cigarettes now, I'm like, I actually haven't seen the inside of a gas stations. I would say, yeah, to use the restroom or to pick up some water,
Mhm.
but I haven't looked at the price of cigarettes now in probably 4 years. I don't even know how much they cost now. Like,
Oh, I don't mind looking occasionally. I
yeah, yeah.
quit I
Next time I go, I'm gonna go check it out because I wanna see how much money I've saved.
well, I quit when I was 3 years sober, so that's been
Yeah,
a little while too, and, every once in a while, I'll look at that and go, "Oh, man, thank God I quit."
yeah.
Just if nothing for the money.
So when it comes to cigarettes, I looked at it as, like a 6 and 7 step because it was just like, yeah, whether I could have kept smoking or not, I used this prayer from a guy I met in Michigan. It was right after a meeting, and I was out there smoking a cigarette, and he came out here. This is the craziest story, right?
Okay.
He comes and he says, "Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes, and God removed it from me after 5 years." I was like, "Oh, yeah? How?" He said, "Well, I used to go pick up a prostitute after AA, after an AA meeting, and I would go get a prostitute and get a blowjob." And
Okay.
And
There's
I was
some
like,
good sobriety
so
for you.
yeah, yeah. And then he goes, I would I said, God, if you if you see this stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows, please take it away. And he would say that as he's like doing his thing, and he was like, oh, okay. And eventually 6 months later, he stopped getting blowjobs. And then he did exactly the same thing with cigarettes. And then 6 months later, he stopped smoking cigarettes. So he said, it works
Mm.
if you do it while you're smoking a cigarette and then like get it personal with it, like be like, yeah, I enjoy this thing, God. I enjoy it. And if you see it stands in the way of my usefulness, take it away. And then he's like, and it's been 5 years since I've gotten a blowjob and smoked a cigarette. And I'm like, it's crazy. And since I took his advice, and it's been about 6 years because I didn't keep that sobriety or that date because it wasn't like I tried. I just kept saying a prayer, and eventually I woke up. I remember this. I woke up and it felt like I heard the voice of God saying, "You're not going to smoke today." Right. And it was somewhere in September 6 years ago, you know? So I'm a little over 6 years off of smoking cigarettes. Right.
I gotta ask the question. It's
What's
the
that?
obvious question. Did you stop the blowjobs though?
Yeah, stop the blowjobs.
Look, man, here this is just my experience speaking here. Um, see, I was raised in a good family, a very good family.
Yeah,
Uh, Wonderful parents. My godmother was in my life with and her and her husband. If I need to think of a good Catholic woman, I think of my godmother. She was a lovely woman. Her husband was a wonderful man. Had good priests in my life, very nice ones. I never experienced anything that I've heard so much about. The nuns were very nice. I really liked, and I remember them well to this day. And it would be nice to see Sister Immaculate one more time. I'm sure she's passed, but the thing is, I was raised with a good moral compass.
yeah,
I mean, very good moral compass, and I know right from wrong. I mean, it was just drilled into me. I knew right from wrong, and while I was drinking, I chose not to do that.
yeah,
Chose not to do obviously being promiscuous, just being a complete and total jerk and insulting to people. Really, I mean, I'm very surprised nobody to this date that I recall has punched me in the face for something I've said.
yeah.
They might have. It's possible, but I don't
Okay.
remember it. And for me, I have to keep as moral as I can with doing things. And that I mean, being a married man, I'm not gonna be seeking anything outside of marriage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's just not gonna happen. It's just no. I know better. And for me, if I were to and because I know when I backslid and my viciousness came back, it hurt my soul
yeah,
and it hurt my sobriety. And we all know there's people who walk back to being, they walk the steps backwards, as they say, where they go back towards a drink. They've relapsed well before they've ever drank.
yeah,
And I know if I start behaving and do immoral things like that, I will drink again
yeah,
because my relationship with God, that is what my sobriety is contingent upon.
yeah. So, would you consider yourself Catholic or Christian now, or
Uh, Specifically, I'm not really sure. I mean, I do hold a lot of the old Catholic beliefs. I do hold a lot of the old Catholic traditions. And I know that, like your friend with the smoking and other such, uh,
blowjobs?
exactly. I know that, and I've seen other alcoholics who can rationalize the heck out of anything.
Yeah,
I also know that's within me. That given long enough going down the wrong path, I'll rationalize anything.
yeah,
And I just can't do that.
yeah. So,
As a matter of fact, the sponsor that I have now, I chose a minister.
Mm,
And one of the reasons why I chose a minister is I want somebody who has a better moral compass or a better
yeah,
set than I have. And because I wish to improve
yeah,
and constantly improve. Because if I'm not going for there is no neutral in AA. There's either forward or
okay,
reverse.
yeah.
And
I
I've
s
seen people do both.
yeah. I say we're on a de-escalator,
A
and that's
de-escalator?
well, it's an escalator going down.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that I call it, we're on a de-escalator. So I just made it up, like, obviously, because, um, the it's a de-escalator with only 12 steps, right?
Hey, it's
So
only 12 steps.
yeah, so but it's always going down, so we have to put in the work to actually get up to 12, but we're at any given point, we're always going down, right? We wake up at step 0, right?
Well, I wouldn't say exactly step 0, but I would say
It's
that I
yeah,
I would say that it needs to be continuous.
mm,
But on the inverse, because I also like to think this too, because I've seen people go through such, and I know that through my experience. I mean, I know that when I came in here, the reason why my first sponsor became my first sponsor is because he was about the only one who would talk to me.
mm,
I think I was in my brain just was everywhere, and people just didn't wanna be around me. They just didn't. But what I like to let them know is no matter how far down the scale you've gone, sobriety is only 12 steps away.
yeah,
So while, yes, we need to continually do the exercise, we continually need to move forward, we continually need the reminder
yeah,
because we all have good forgetters. We can forget stuff. I mean, all you have to do is look at a woman giving birth. When a woman gives birth, she will scream at you and tell you that ain't ever happening again.
yeah,
About a year later, I want another baby, blink, blink. She forgets the pain. It's
yeah,
the same defense mechanism we have with our alcoholism. We forget really how bad it was.
yeah,
And we do, I don't hear this term often anymore, but it used to be said all the time. It's called romancing the drink.
yeah,
When you look at all the good times and you start to forget all the bad times. I mean, for me, it's easy to remember some of the bad times because I love my daughters. And, like sometimes, like, we'll just say with my oldest, with Holly, sometimes we're talking about stuff and I can see a little pain in her eyes, I think,
mm.
because of her mother. And that kind of keeps it real. I mean, even after all
How
this
old is
time,
she?
she's 30 now,
Oh, okay.
almost 30. Oh my God, I'm getting old.
How old are you?
I turned 60. I'll be 61 come June,
Oh, so you're coming up on 20 years of sobriety?
coming right up on 20.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's the unbelievable number because if I tell you 19 or 21, people believe it.
yeah,
When you say 20, that's the number's just too round.
yeah.
At least the way it was for me.
Just keep 20. You know, I didn't pick up any chips or coins until my 3rd year because my buddy, he was like, "You gotta do it," It's like you can't just not pick it up. I'm like, because of my relapse, I was so scared, like,
Right.
before I relapsed, I was so, like, on the I was at that point where you're too cocky, where, like, you felt like you couldn't
Okay.
drink again? I felt like it was impossible, and I also, like, um I felt better than people. Yeah,
I was taught a little bit differently.
yeah,
I don't think you ever met Steve. He was my first sponsor, and my second sponsor agreed with it. As did believe Joe, my third. I haven't talked to Stevie about this, but I was taught that it's not for me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why
It's so that other people can see that it's done.
yeah, yeah. That's why I pick it up now, but I was at, um, my first my first couple years, I'm just like, I didn't want my ego to rebuild anymore,
Mhm.
I didn't wanna be like, "Yes." I was scared of my ego, you know? And I knew it wasn't for me. I still know it's not for me. That's why I pick it up. But
So you didn't because of fear,
I did it because of fear. Yeah.
right? Well, I think, as we grow in this, and I've seen others grow some, and it's sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, and I would say sometimes quickly with me and sometimes slowly with me. It's not just some do it fast, some do it slow.
Yeah.
As we
Yeah.
go through bits, spurts, it just becomes, I think it becomes a little different when you start looking at it from how can I be helpful to others? And
Yeah.
that becomes the primary goal. Because, and one of the things that I hear so many people discuss and have questions about is how do I know God's will? I don't know. Well, pray.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you know God's will. You'll
Well,
learn it. God will reveal it.
and it's a few simple concepts to have. One thing that I know that God wants us to do is to want to do His will.
Yeah.
So if we want to do His will, okay, we're getting closer.
Yeah.
God also, and I also look at it this way. And let me ask you, do you think God would ever ask you to do something that was illegal, or immoral, or incredibly fattening?
No.
No. It's always the right thing, right?
Yeah.
So what do we want to do? We want to do the other thing,
Yeah.
which is not God's will, which is the bad thing.
So you're saying I gotta stop eating cookies and cakes?
That one's more for me than you,
Yeah.
right?
No, no, no. It's
I have lost 32 pounds now,
yeah.
so
I go on a up and down with eating as clean as possible and eating as much shit as possible. It's like I'm like I'll go on like binges of eating super clean for 3 months, and then I'll go on other binges. Like I'm like
well,
binge for 3 months for
go on something you can maintain. However, I would look at it this way. It's like, does God want you to eat the garbage and treat your body bad? See,
probably
when we
not.
look at no, probably not. And that's kind of how I've been trying to look at this. Trying,
Yeah,
trying. I'm not telling you I'm a saint. I'm not telling you I'm all that, perfect and moral and all that. I do what I'm trying to get better, but that's kind of the way that I do it. And I noticed a huge difference in me in the way things work. For example, I mean, I like to put it this way. I used to do God's will because I wanted to stay sober. I was afraid. And we do that at the beginning, and our sponsors say, "Well, if you don't do that, you're gonna drink." Okay, gotta do God's will. Right? So we go do it. But now I stay sober because I wanna do God's will.
yeah. You know,
I wanna do the right thing. I wanna help other people, whether they're in AA or not. And it's not monetarily, it's just little
yeah,
things.
yeah. I learned that the word try, um, it's like somebody told me. Well, I mean, they didn't tell me. I listened to it on a different podcast. He said, "I hate the word try because you're either doing or you're not doing, or you're doing something, and you're missing the mark. But either way, you're doing something, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So like trying is just basically you're either doing it and not achieving it, or you're doing it and achieving it, right? But either way, you're not really trying. It's just like it's just a word to it's like a filler word for that doesn't make sense.
Well, that depends on the person who's saying it, and I can understand how somebody would think that way,
Right.
and that's perfectly fine. I mean, I don't have a corner on the market on how to think of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just
Please don't stay in my head that long.
yeah, yeah. Not when you say that, I just thought about that. I was like,
Well, we all say things that and look at things differently. For example, my third sponsor, Joe, um, they called him Vietnam Joe or Big Nose Joe or whatever you want to call him, but he's a really sweet guy. He's a really nice guy. And he had it where he never wanted to say he was a recovered alcoholic because to him, that would mean that his journey was finished. It's
um,
done.
yeah,
But see, that's how it meant to him.
yeah,
Now he's my sponsor. I don't have to agree with my sponsor 100%,
yeah,
but I'm not going to fight him on it. Whereas I will say that I'm recovered. And part of the reason is that's the only way in the big book, it's in working with others, that it tells you that you're to be introduced as a recovered alcoholic who, as part of his recovery, goes and helps other people.
yeah. It's also at the beginning of the book too.
Oh, it's at the big it's all through the book. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, there's a few places in it, but the thing is, I'm comfortable with it because to me, it doesn't mean that, but to him, that's the way it meant, and if it helped him to think that, hey, he died sober.
yeah,
He died sober, and he was a good man. He was the, he was a very good man. One of the last conversations I had with him, I'm talking to him for a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, James, how you doing? What can I do to help you?" And we're talking for a little bit, and we go back and forth. And at one point, he says, "James, I really think I need to apologize to you. We're making amends to you." And I said, "What for?" He said, "Well, with my health the way it's been in the last year, I don't think I've been a very good sponsor." And I said, "Hang on, Joe. You're sitting in the VA parking lot to see the results, to figure out how many more days, weeks, or months you have left because you know your time is short. And what's the first thing you do? Ask me how I'm doing and how you could help me.
yeah,
What makes you think that you haven't shown me the very best of what Alcoholics Anonymous is?"
yeah,
See, that's sponsorship. He didn't have to be there all the time for me. He didn't have to hold my hand through everything. What did he do? He was there doing what he was supposed to do. That's what he taught me, man.
yeah,
And when they say stick with the winners, I say Joe S. is a winner because he died sober. See, I don't know who the winners are because the way I look at it, now it's just like I say, different points of view and different ways that we look at things.
yeah,
The only winners I know are the ones who died sober.
yeah,
So if you're still breathing, how do I know if you're a winner? If I'm still breathing, how do I know if I'm still a winner?
yeah,
That's why I need to continue to work. We all find different ways to talk to ourselves and to explain certain things, but it has to come down, and I believe this with all of my heart, it has to come down with doing the 12 steps. Alcoholics Anonymous is not a fellowship supported by a program.
yeah,
It's a program that's supported by a fellowship.
yeah. I believe that too.
Because if these guys in World War II could go on their own without meetings, without their sponsors talking to them, they didn't have cell phones, man. They couldn't talk halfway around the planet.
Yeah,
And by the way, from what I understand, alcoholics in war did very well
yeah.
and had a high
Dude,
non-relapse
you talk about it in the Toe, right?
rate. Well, yeah, but what did they do? They relied on God. It was the program. They relied on their big books.
Yeah.
I mean,
They had less
the
alcoholic
following,
lapses
following.
than the people back home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were faced with adversity, and they were forced to look at the steps because there was some scary stuff going on.
yeah,
And, I kinda look at that too, and I find heroes today in Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, that's another thing I hear. And by the way, if somebody disagrees with me on something, just make a comment, especially if you can pull up something in the big book and point it out to me. I will read the comments and I will respond because, hey, you guys can teach me too.
yeah.
But the thing is, I have heroes in AA, and one of my heroes is this woman that I've never met that got sober online in China.
Mm,
She was in China. She never had a meeting for 3 only by typing because this was back in the day when they did the typing.
mm,
They didn't really quite have Zoom or yeah, Zoom, that's right, Skype went away. They didn't have any of that, and what happened was this woman man, this always gets to me. This woman took an 8-hour train ride in China from the rural area she was to a big city. She went, she found a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, took an 8-hour trip back. That day, there's a bunch of us waiting for her to come back because we wanted to hear how her first meeting went.
mm.
Took her forever because she was crying. She couldn't see the keyboard. Right. And I'm going to moan that meeting is inconvenient for me to go to. 3 years, 1 meeting. She's my hero.
Yeah,
And you'll find people through the program who, one way or another, just reach out and just hit you. And I'll tell you what, when I was still drinking out there, I'd have been embarrassed to cry over this. I'm not embarrassed at all
Yeah.
because I find people. I mean, it's like my uncle Ron, man, blew the top of his skull off.
How long ago was this with the lady?
Oh, that would have been 2009, 2010.
Oh, wow. And she was in the rural area of
Of China,
China.
teaching little Chinese kids how to speak English.
Wow.
And I forget
But
the
she's from China or she's from America?
I don't know, she's from America.
Oh, okay.
Little teeny thing, but yeah. I mean, but that's just an example. I mean, there's people go
You
through
know
all
her
kinds of.
today?
I haven't talked to her or spoke or I've typed back and forth to her and everything, but, last time I think she had about 9 or 10 years, something like that.
That's crazy.
But see, the thing is, we do that, and you also never know who you can reach.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's people out there that I wouldn't have a prayer talking to and helping out that you can. And there's people out there that wouldn't even wanna look at you, but I can help. It's just the way that it works. Don't know why. I don't even take it personal. As a matter of fact, if there's anybody out there that doesn't like me, I can relate.
Yeah.
I hated me a lot longer than they did,
Yeah.
and with much more intensity, I assure you. So it doesn't bother me. I just look for the people that I can help and the people that I can, I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best thing I can do is let somebody else talk to them because I'm not going to do them any good. Got to take my ego out.
Yeah, because we never know who we're gonna help or who we can't help and who I mean, I honestly don't know who I can help, right?
Hmm.
And that's why I have all of my friends, so, like you, one of them that I'm just like, you have you definitely have enough experience and enough knowledge and enough, um, real working a real working program in your life that anybody I don't know who if it's the altruistic movement of, like, I'm I'm not getting paid for this, and I'm actually paid a lot of money for actually to start this, like buying a laptop, buying all these SD cards, buying all this. I'm like just buying programs to be able to edit, putting all my money into starting this just so I can like, in hopes that maybe I can reach somebody that is in an area that or somebody who needs to hear somebody's
Or just tripped over it,
who just tripped over, just scrolled past and like heard uh
or God guided their finger to the right page.
yeah. So
Yeah.
to where I can just that's just one more for his kingdom, one more person that was saved by your story or anybody else's story.
Yeah. And we never know what's going to stick with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I believe that our lives are a love letter to his children, right? Like you as an alcoholic is your life is a love letter to God's children. It's
Well, yeah. I
how
mean,
much God loves us.
I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but I've had people come up to me and tell me things that I said to them that changed
Yeah,
their course.
it's happened to me a lot now.
And then what's even
I'm like, I
funnier
don't even
is
remember what I said.
and sometimes they're telling you said something and it doesn't even sound like you.
Yeah, because it
This
wasn't you.
well, yeah, I
It was God using you. You just did enough work to empty yourself enough to where God was filled.
yeah, I had one guy tell me that he was crying in a meeting. I got up, walked out of the room, got some tissues for him, came back, put my hand on his shoulder, handed him the tissues and said, "Every alcoholic in here has been exactly where you are. Stick around, you'll do okay." That doesn't even sound like me. At
Yeah.
the time, I mean, today I probably would do something like that, but at the time, I'm like, "I did that? No,
I was like, for
okay."
real?
Yeah, yeah.
Surprised at yourself?
I think it was I think he had 3 years sober and he came back to the area with the sponsee to show his sponsee where he got sober, and then he ran in, and then and by the way, I hardly ever had gone to that particular meeting anymore, and I just happened in.
Yeah.
Well, who did that? That was God, that wasn't me,
Yeah.
so and, oh, I have to tell this one story because if I don't tell the story, the woman who's involved in the story will be well, she'll be happy that I told the story.
Yeah.
And this is just and, I was at a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was really new, still raw, and the meeting was on gratitude. Now, I don't know how you responded to gratitude meetings, but I hated that. It's like,
Yeah, so
"Oh god,
yeah.
gratitude, bleh." So, and there was a silence, which happens to happen a lot in gratitude meetings, and the chair decided to pick on this one woman, and, because she might have something to share, and she says, "Hi, my name is Brenda, and I'm an alcoholic.
Huh?
I'm so grateful for so many things, I don't even know where to begin." And I looked at her and I thought, "Bitch." Because I'm feeling like a pile of dog squeeze, man. I'm not feeling good. I'm in a terrible place. I want information that can help me, and I can't see how that would help you,
Yeah.
right? So, and I knew what was coming next. Walking in the sunlight of the spirit. Oh, I knew it was coming. I'd been in AA long enough. I knew that was coming. And sure enough, it did. And I'm like, talked to my sponsor about it. He says, well, maybe she wasn't talking to you.
Yeah.
A little humbling. Well, 2 years later, I'm sitting in the same room of Alcoholics Anonymous, and a meeting comes up. It's on gratitude. There's that moment of silence that happens in those gratitude meetings, and the chair looks at me and picks me out because he thinks I might have something to share. And there's this guy sitting a couple chairs away from me, and he looks at me. I th- I would think he was trying to use his inside voice, but what I heard was asshole. I don't even know what I said, but apparently, yeah. And I wasn't even mad.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that happened 19 years ago.
Mm.
I still remember it very clearly. Maybe she was talking to me.
Yeah, sure.
And by the way, when at one point when my wife needed a sponsor, and she was asking without hesitation, I said, Brenda,
Yeah.
without a second hesitation. I mean, I've really grown. I mean, I love her to death.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful woman. So,
Yeah, she is great.
well, the thing is, things change. You change. Your perspective changes. We don't understand. If I get a newcomer who's angry at me, why am I going to get upset? They're not angry at me. Their alcoholism's angry at me.
Yeah.
I see it. It's the same way I was. Can't take it personal. So we just come and do what we're supposed to do, and hopefully say something. And one of the prayers that I've used in the past, and actually my previous employer gave me this. And by the way, that guy Pat, he fired me while I was an active alcoholic. He didn't know that was the reason, but that was the reason.
Yeah.
And he rehired me back several years later. I was looking, he was looking, I had made my amends, and he's a man who believes in redemption. And yeah, as a matter of fact, I started the month that I got sober, and on my 7th month anniversary, my very first job was at a bar,
Mm.
and my last job was right across the street from Park Place Behavioral Center where the rehab is. So I started my day on my 7th year anniversary. I started at a bar and ended up at rehab. Didn't have a drink or anything, but yeah, we just never know when these things can happen. You just gotta go with it. Just keep plugging along.
Yeah. You're always like, I would say, I can't say always, but have you do you ever feel like like, whenever you're sharing, there's always, like, a certain, like, group of people that just, like, walk out?
Oh, yeah, that used to happen, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a few people I think that today who's like, "Oh god, it's him again."
Cool. I mean,
It's okay.
and you know what's crazy is, like, I mean, there's always one person that, like, walks out right when I share, and it's like, "I'm just sharing from the book." I'm like, "You don't wanna hear the message?" I'm like, don't kill me." I'm like, I've been trying to find, um, easier, softer methods on, like, how I my delivery, I would say,
Okay.
and, so today I was like, because the those open discussion meetings, it was, the topic was somebody brought up conflict, and everybody was going around saying their little version of, like, what they do and how they work, whatever. I'm like, "Alright, how about we, actually take it to the book?" Because when I opened up, I said, "I'm gonna open up this page because I'm gonna give you the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. Because if I give you the program of Axel's program, it'll probably get you drunk,
No,
so I'm
first
gonna
of all,
give you the program of Alcoholics Anonymous."
no matter what you say, there's always somebody gonna have resentment about it. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. I mean,
And I just started reading. I started reading out of page 84 and,
I
the
went
10
through
step.
well, here's the thing. I went through a period of time where big book thumper, thumpity thump, thumpity thump thump, thumpity thump thump thump,
Yeah,
right? And there are times I'll read out of it. There are occasions where I still will today. I don't do it as often. The way that I look at it, it's like, well, there's plenty of big books readily available, and you can read it too. So if you think I'm wrong, please look it up.
yeah, yeah.
But and I still do share out of the book. I just don't necessarily let them know that it's a direct quote.
Okay.
And there's always going to be people who don't like it. There's to me, it's like, like I don't know, it's like a Christian going to church and getting mad that the preacher read something out of the Bible.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of the way that I look at it. But the thing is, we're dealing with a different breed of cat, man.
yeah,
We're dealing with a different kind of person, and we don't make sense a lot. I know I certainly didn't. And
yeah,
irrational, that's part of alcoholism, and I know I was very irrational. Like I said, most of the people in AA didn't even wanna talk to me. I went to a I remember, for the first Halloween thing that they had there, this one guy told me how great the meeting was, or the Halloween party in St. Cloud was gonna be. "Oh, it's gonna be so much better than the one at West Side Club. It was gonna be it's gonna be great. There's this and that and the other," and he's telling me all this stuff. So I went, and I told my sponsor I wanted to go to that one, so he said, "Sure, we'll go there. I don't care." So we went there. Well, I went to the St. Cloud meeting. He was nowhere to be found. Guess where he was?
where, the West Side one?
He was at the West Side when he went to the other meeting. He talked it up so that I wouldn't be there.
What the heck?
Dude, we're not dealing with well
Yeah, yeah,
people,
yeah.
and on top of that, I wasn't a well person. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people in the middle of a conversation with me just turn and walk away, and I had other people go, "No, that's not your imagination. That really happened." I'm like,
Yeah,
I was just I was a fry pie, man,
yeah.
and I think there's this one guy, Peter, uh, and to tell you how much he disliked me, he had a special coin when I got my 5-year medallion. He sent away. He talked to his brother, who's also in the program, and where he came from, there's a certain special coin that they give out, and he had one made for me. That's how much he hated me. I didn't think he liked me. I didn't think he liked me at all.
Uh,
And at the beginning, I was so and he even said to me at one point, he says, "Yeah, I would sit there and listen to you, and the reason I didn't say anything is because I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. You're just topic A, topic B, topic Z, topic A, back over here, jumping back and forth, man. I couldn't keep a thought in my head,
yeah,
and that's just the way that it was, you know, so so at the beginning, I can definitely understand what but there's people. Look, there's perfectly nice people out there that I don't like,
yeah,
and they did nothing wrong. We just have a personality clash. It's no big deal,
yeah.
you know?
Love
So,
love or tolerance?
love or tolerance. I don't think this one's multiple guess, no. No, 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 no. It's something that we strive for.
Yeah,
Okay, and so instead of try, we'll say I
yeah,
strive.
and but
We all
for
strive for perfection, where we strive for perfection, but we're never going to get there. You
yeah,
know that.
we strive for perfection knowing we'll never get there.
Yeah, don't let perfection be the enemy of excellence.
Yeah,
Because you can in this program we can reach excellence. We'll never reach perfection. And there's perfectionists out there that'll just quit because they can never get perfect. Well, nobody can.
yeah.
So you just try not to make it the enemy. We just continue to go. I mean, just keep on plugging on even when things suck.
It's enjoying the journey. Enjoy the journey before, like, well, not before, but just enjoy the journey, like knowing the end is when you die.
Right. Well, thing is, I mean, I'm not going to enjoy every part of my sobriety. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
There's just no way. Sometimes happy, joyous, and free is off the menu temporarily. It's just the way it's going to be because things happen.
yeah.
And sometimes it's a perception of things.
Not only that, but we need the lows, we need the sadness, we need all those things
Possibly.
because there's no like, how can you measure happiness without sadness?
Well, yeah. And
You
then
don't.
we just have to find
There is
different
no
ways.
high without a low.
Yeah. One time, and Jane and I weren't married that long, and she had some chest pains and numbness in her left arm and some other discomfort. What does that sound like to you? Heart attack?
Stroke or heart attack, one
Right.
of those.
Stroke or heart attack, something like that.
Yeah,
I'm driving down the road, and this was my prayer. God, I really don't want to be this helpful. I
mm,
didn't want to have her go through a trauma so that I could be helpful to somebody else who's going through the same thing. I didn't want to be that helpful.
mm,
I mean, God knows. God knows. Sometimes it's just my, a lot of my prayers are short, simple, and it's just talk like that. And as it turned out, it wasn't that. It's just that she strained her arm with work and her breasts are a little too large and it caused a complication. So it wound up being a minor thing.
yeah,
But this thing is, how do you approach it? You pray.
yeah,
It's always a simple thing. Here's a simple prayer. God, could you throw me a bone? That's a simple prayer. Help me out.
yeah. It's a
God,
God help program.
or God, I don't know what to do. That's a prayer.
Yeah,
And I know that he knows everything that I said. He knows everything that I did say. He knows everything that probably that I'm going to say. God knows, but I say it anyway.
yeah,
I mean, I felt silly for a while there. I mean, not saying memorized prayers. I felt weird because it's like, well, God knows this, I mean,
yeah,
you know, but sometimes it's like, God, I don't know how much more I can take.
yeah. People don't understand that you can take any prayer and personalize it. It's actually better when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I discovered a very good prayer for forgiving people and letting things go.
What is it?
God, please let that person become spiritually fit and connected and good with you.
Mm.
Now, at
So that
first,
prayer is for what?
that prayer is for forgiving other people and wishing them well in kind of
Oh,
a way.
okay.
Because thing is, how if you forgive somebody, you at least have to wish them well. And there's a couple ways. I mean, I remember one of my early prayers because this one guy told me. He says, "Whatever you pray for, pray that for yourself. Pray that the other guy gets twice what you get."
Yeah.
So I did. I prayed that I would get beaten half to death because I was, and I meant it.
Yeah.
And do you know why I was angry?
Why?
I haven't a clue. I can't even remember why I was mad at the guy, but that's how angry I was at the time. It's very bitter, angry, resentful, alcoholic. That's how we come in.
Yeah.
So, and then eventually, I started praying better, and eventually, uh, that prayer, when I prayed that that other person would become spiritually connected and good with you, that was so he'd no longer be a jerk,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of a selfish prayer. But eventually, that prayer became something which really helped. it was very helpful for me because what I'm doing is I'm really wishing that person well. I really want that other person who has done these wrongs to find God and to do God's will.
Yeah, I agree.
It evolves. I mean, we do the best we can and we just move on.
Is the people that piss me off the most are
Family.
usually, yeah, usually family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because they remember everything you did.
yeah. Well, I mean, I would say for the most part, with right now is, I mean, because when you get pissed off, it's usually fear, right? The resentment is fears. It's how fear shows up is resentment, and my anger is usually happens with my son. I'm like, because I can't control the outcome. I'm like, I'm so fearful of him becoming just like me, and putting me through the things I put my parent through. And I'm grateful that he's like 20 times better than I am at 13, but still I'm like, I see the patterns and try to I try to do it in a way to where like I'm instilling discipline, but I'm also giving him grace. Discipline and grace. It's like a
Well, I think that's a little bit outside of the scope really to be able to give any kind of, advice like that. I'm very hesitant to ever give advice on how to treat a child, especially when I don't know nearly as much. The best that I can say is with a book,
yeah.
and one of the biggest mistakes that I've made is I thought about things.
Mm,
Uh, Now I prefer to pray about it
okay.
because in my own head, we alcoholics, when we come in, that's what we are without God.
Yeah.
Resentful, bitter, angry, uh, acerbic, abrasive, arrogant, the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah.
because I'll tell you, I was arrogant. I was not arrogant enough to think that I was the most important or the most intelligent person on the planet, but I was always more intelligent than whoever was sitting in front of me at the time.
Yeah.
That's arrogance. And that is my natural state. And with the program going through without alcohol, with a God that has guided me to what I'm more of what I'm supposed to be, not what I am naturally. It's a very unnatural thing to tell an alcoholic not to drink.
Yeah.
It's unnatural. It's what are you talking about? It's kind of crazy. And then we were asked to do the most unnatural thing that there is. And then we're told to do good things instead of selfish things.
Yeah.
How does that go? And then we're told not to try to control everybody and everything.
Yeah.
Well, how am I going to be happy if I can't control how everybody is? They gotta follow my plan. I'm the director, didn't you know?
Yeah.
So we're asked to do all these unnatural things. So for me, I'm not, obviously I'm not going to give you advice on how to raise
Yeah.
your son, but I will say pray about it. The answer will come. And as far as I'm concerned, discussing with the sponsor is not off the table
Yeah.
because that's the sponsor knows you a little bit better, knows maybe what you kind of need to look at because we don't always know what we need. We think we do.
Yeah.
And, for example, I thought at one point, and this is one of my one thing that I fall back on a lot. I thought I needed the acceptance page, which is page 417.
Yeah.
I call it the opinion section in the back because
Yeah. Yeah.
the
I don't even have those in my big book. I don't even have the stories in the back.
well, there's some good ones. There's
Yeah.
some really good ones, and I don't, and I wouldn't suggest not reading them. But what happened was I thought, okay, I need acceptance. I need acceptance. I need acceptance. I need acceptance. And so instead of page 417, I turned like an alcoholic. I turned to page 317. See, that was God guiding my hand and going to where I'm supposed to read because on that,
What story is that one?
this one, well, the page, the
Yeah.
specific page because that's more relevant, and you can find it. It's in fourth edition, page 317, and it says something about willingness and action. And it talks about that we need to follow the willingness with the action, otherwise nothing's going to happen. That's the general. And I would suggest anybody hearing this, page 317, read it. It really changed a lot for me because what was happening is I didn't need acceptance. At that moment, what I needed to do was doing what the program told me. I had to follow through with my readings and my words. I couldn't just do the readings. I couldn't just do the words. I had to follow it with the action.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing for me. And it was huge. It's huge for me. And somebody from Iowa, and I had about 4 years of sobriety, again, about 4 years, she gave me a wonderful gift. And it was these words: willingness without action is fantasy. How many times did we sit around doing what we're and talk about what we
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
supposed to be doing and it never
No, that's
followed
true.
through? And how many people
Yeah.
come into Alcoholics Anonymous and they're really willing, but they don't do it?
Yeah, you tell them to write a list of the people they're mad at, and they don't do it.
Right. Well, they just don't follow they don't follow the suggestions or instructions.
Yeah.
But and this well, I do things well, I have my own ways when doing steps, and I know different sponsors have different ways. But when I get to the third step, I inform the sponsee that I have that by taking this third step, by accepting God's way as opposed to ours, because steps 4 through 12 are really, let's find out what God's will is for us.
Yeah.
That really helps us get there. So if we are deciding to do his way, the rest of the program is to finding out what that is so that we can do it. And I explained to them, if you do this prayer and think very thoroughly, because it tells us in the book, you know, we think seriously about this. This isn't a small step.
Yeah.
It's a huge decision that from now on, when I tell you to do something with steps, I'm not going to suggest a thing. When I tell you to do something, you're going to do it because I'm following the book.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what kind of toilet paper to buy. I'm not telling you what you need to say at any given point to your wife or whoever. I'm not here I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm
Yeah.
not a lawyer. I'm not your mechanic. I'm none of these things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you to do things according to the book. So by going through this third step, if you decide to do this, you're not going to hear the words I suggest anymore
Yeah.
because it's that important of a decision. Because I hear people say, "Oh yeah, they do steps 1, 2, 3." That's the what is that? The AA cha cha cha. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 out the door. 1, 2, 3 out the door. No, they never did step 3.
Yeah.
They did. You didn't lose them at
You
step
didn't even do
4.
step one, actually.
Well, no, they did step 1. They understand the problem, but the thing
The
is,
first half. Yeah.
that it's that last bit where it's like, okay, well, now we're going to do it God's way. That's where they lose it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they wanna do what they wanna do, not what God wants to do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, we like the idea of sobriety. We wanna be sober, we want the
Yeah.
kids back, we want the wife back, we want the car back, we want the house.
Do you want the time sober?
We yeah. Oh, yeah, when I first got sober, I wanted 20 years worth of sobriety, but I
Yeah.
didn't wanna be 20 years older.
Uh,
I got the grade, didn't work.
I want what was it? You want the JG J what is it? The what JG Wentworth? Like
I have no idea what you're
so
talking
it's
about.
I forgot it's a commercial about like getting your tax settlement or getting your lawsuit settlement. Like I have a structured settlement and I want my money now, basically.
Well, yeah, I want my cake and I wanna eat it too. I want all the benefits, but I don't wanna do the work.
Yeah.
It's like a guy at a gym who wants to look like, He
On
wants
social media?
or whomever.
Yeah,
There's a was it Mercer or whatever. There's a bunch of them out there.
yeah,
But, yeah, they wanna be the guy with, with, forearms about that big,
yeah.
but they
I
don't
want a mansion and a Maserati.
yeah, but they don't wanna do the work. I mean, it's me, like me, I wanna lose another 50 pounds. I haven't done the work yet.
Yeah,
I'll get there because 'cause I'm willing to do the work,
yeah,
I believe.
yeah. I'll get there too.
And that's another thing, even with me trying to lose the weight now, and by the way, don't let yourself get out of shape and then try to get back in shape at 60. It really sucks.
Yeah, no,
But,
I can't go more than a week without hitting the gym.
well, the thing is, just it well, the long story short is we gotta do the work. We gotta be not only do we have to be willing to do the work, we have to follow through. And then what do we have to do when we follow through? We actually need to listen to people who know what they're talking about. That's what a sponsor is.
Yeah,
I always to this day, I have a sponsor. I have not gone one day in Alcoholics Anonymous without a sponsor.
yeah. Me neither.
I don't know how to stay sober without one because I've never done it. That's my experience. Now, do I rely on my sponsor? No, my sponsors have made sure that I am reliant upon God,
Yeah,
and most of the time now, my sponsors are telling me things I already know, and I'm like, yeah, I know I need to do this. Did you do it? Not yet.
yeah,
it's, we need to be reminded. It's just the same thing. It's like having a trainer at a gym. It's a little bit more helpful.
yeah.
It's like, okay, well, are you pushing with your heels or your toes? You trying to blow your knees out or not? It's just this, it's the same concept. We have to continue to do the work. And it becomes a point where it's not a hassle to do the work. I mean, really, I don't consider it work anymore.
It's not work.
It's what you do.
It's just what you do. It becomes our natural state. Right? It becomes more natural because
Yeah, more of a habit. And it's not like everything's easy. I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, I've gone through some stressful points in
yeah.
in my sobriety. I've gone through some real stress. I mean, divorce when I was going through that was not very easy.
You
Having
went
the
through.
have it, yeah, that was with my second ex-wife.
So
And
you went through the divorce at what year?
yes, yeah, that was difficult too. Year 4,
Uh,
year 4 is
Damn.
a big one for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because basically what happened was the first 4 years of my sobriety, I'm living in the house with a drunkard.
Mm,
And let me tell you what, this woman could go 7 days straight drinking
yeah,
and then have the DTs and all the rest of that. "No, I'll never do it again." Yeah, okay, we've heard it.
yeah.
I and, I had plenty of people telling me, you need to lose that wife," and I couldn't because the thing is, especially with
People straight up told you that?
yeah, NAA. And here's the problem with my daughters, I was afraid of losing custody and I would have had I not done what I went through and went through what I went through. I would have lost custody of the oldest child. There wasn't even a spot on the paperwork for her because I'm not the adopted father.
Yeah,
I'm not the biological father. I'm not even I'm just the dude that this chick married.
yeah,
I mean, there's no place for it, and I could not leave her to that.
yeah,
I could not leave her to that, and here's a gift and a painful one at that. We had a discussion at one point, and she told me that even when I was drinking, the only time she ever felt safe in that house was when I was there,
mm, yeah.
and I don't feel I was there enough.
How's she now?
Oh, she's a wonderful girl, wonderful girl.
How old is she now?
30.
Oh, that's the 30-year-old?
Yeah,
So how's the youngest?
she's 22.
Okay.
So, but the deal is, we have to go through what we go through. I mean, that was a tough 4 years,
Yeah,
you know? And then when, Jane, my wife now, she had to go back to England before we were really engaged or anything, but, um, she left for England, and We decided to get married, and then it was the waiting game and one thing after the other. I mean, because and it was just a thing. Uh, from the time she left till the time she came back was 1,103 days. That's more than 3 years. She was away longer than I was married to
Yeah.
my first ex-wife,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it wasn't the first thing I said to her when she got off the plane because I figured it out. I used the sobriety calculator,
Yeah.
put it in the date she left, 1,103 days. Whoa!
Yeah.
It wasn't the first thing I said to her, but it was in the first 5 minutes. I don't care what happens, we're fixing it
Yeah.
because I didn't wait that long to get a divorce.
Yeah.
And, so far, we've been married for 12 years and have had one good fight. Little ones here and there, a little back and forth, but only one good fight. Needed it straightened out. Uh,
Now, what year, sober did you marry her?
that would be yep, I was still in my 7th year.
Oh, wow. Like me, I'm about to marry in my 7th year.
Okay, man.
Well, she's getting the healthiest version of me, and I told her, she's like, "Why do you" I mean, not now, but, like, before, she's like, "Why do you still go to meetings and sponsor people and do all these other things if, like, you've been sober for that?" I'm like, "You gotta read the chapter to the wives." I'm like, "Y" I'm like, "Read that, talk to my mom, talk to my brother, like, you gotta get a real understanding." Like, I guess, on our first date, I told her my basically I gave her, it was like a speaker version of a date, like, like how speakers, they tell their life story?
Mhm.
That's exactly what I did to her on a first date. I'm like, "Well, just so you know, I'm a crackhead in recovery." Oh, like and I was like, I've been sober for this long, and, I finally got custody of my first child, and still, like, his younger brother lives in Georgia, and she's like, "Oh, so you have 2 sons?" I was like, "Well, actually, I had another one in sobriety," you know? So I kinda, like, time released my kids.
Yeah, well, my wife knows in painful detail of my life. T Let's put it this way, if something were to come up from my past in my past life that I hadn't told her about, I'll be surprised too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I mean, she does, she knows everything, and there were people family members and by the way, God love them. I have no animosity for them saying this whatsoever. Um, I can understand why they would wanna warn them about or
Yeah,
warn her about me. I really do. I mean, I had arrest assault and battery domestic. I mean, that don't look good, does it?
yeah,
But when one of her family members told her that I had been arrested for assault and battery domestic, she said, "Oh, that's not the only time he was arrested."
yeah,
Because there was stuff that they didn't find, and he goes, "Well, he did this and this and this."
yeah.
And they're like,
It's better that
"What?"
they know, right? It's like, you gotta know everything before you sign up for this. And, after the first year, the first hour, she was still there, you know? A second hour, she was still there, and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, I think there is some discernment,
Yeah, yeah.
you're not gonna tell her about the night behind that dumpster, are you?
Well, when I took a shit?
I don't know, I'm just saying
Yeah, yeah,
certain
yeah.
things. I mean, look,
No, no,
I know
no,
the
I've
thing
told her
is,
everything.
and I know everything about her life. I'll tell
Yeah,
you what, she were no angel either.
yeah, yeah,
And here's the wonderful thing, one of the things that I like about AA, and this is true because I have seen people transform in ways that are just completely amazing. Sometimes you don't see it in yourself. I've had people tell me that I have transformed, and I'll take their word for it. I mean, I don't
yeah,
feel as I do and I don't, but I've seen it in others.
yeah,
I've seen it in others. And that's one of the cool things about AA. That is one of the most awesome things is when you watch somebody go from hopeless, helpless, just completely decimated
Yeah.
to an actual human being that's helpful to others, and you can see that little glint in their eye.
Well, you got to see me at the beginning, right?
Oh, you're pretty messy.
Yeah, I mean, I was about 100 pounds lighter too. Yeah. I was
You were
homeless, and I was living in the back of West Side.
you were interesting. But see, but here's the thing, I didn't get to see you through the process, and that's
Oh,
part of the
okay.
thing. I've seen others, and it's really nice too because you don't always have to sponsor somebody to see it. You can see it in other people.
Yeah.
You know, there I've walked up to people and told them, it's like, "Wow, the change in you is just astounding. Can you continue with the 12 steps?" And they're like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I saw you when you came in, and I like you. You're cool." And they're like, "Somebody likes me?"
I should tell more people that.
If you believe it. If you believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
Uh,
believe it, because there's one thing that I've learned, another thing that I've learned in AA is I always tell the truth to another alcoholic, especially about their condition
yeah.
and what's going on. I had a sponsee, or still have a sponsee. I'm still sponsoring. This guy started hearing voices in his head, and he was starting to do what they told him to do.
Mm,
I am not equipped to handle that.
yeah.
I'm a sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous. I am not equipped to handle that in the slightest. So I told him, I said, "This is what's going to happen. After you hang up the phone with me, you were to take your phone, you're not even to put it down, and you were to dial 911, and you were going to call the police department, and you were going to tell them, 'I'm hearing voices in my head, and I'm starting to do what they say. I'm a danger to myself, and I'm a danger to others. Come and take me.'"
Mm,
And then you tell them where it is. He did exactly what I said. And I talked to him later and I said, "Why did you do what I said?" Most people, he says, "Because you never lied to me."
mm,
He says, "I've been so angry at you, I wanted to put your head through a wall, but you never lied to me. You always told me the truth. And when you told me to do something, it was for my own good."
yeah.
So by telling this man the truth and being totally, I can't,
Yeah, yeah.
I can't lie to an alcoholic and trick him into doing something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. They might not understand the reason why I'm telling them, and they may discover pleasantly the rewards of it later, but I'm not gonna lie to them and tell them it's one thing and it's another.
Yeah.
You know, that man listening to me through that, because 'cause I'll tell you, I mean, and I'll tell you, I heard and he was telling me, and he's still sober. And he's one of those people that needs medications. I'm not gonna judge him for that. They're
Yeah.
prescribed by a doctor. He needs it, and he needs it to stop the voices. But he told me some of the stuff that he was hearing, and more than likely, knowing him, it would have gotten him killed. He wouldn't have hurt somebody else, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's still
And by the way, I have permission to tell that story because,
yeah.
and even if anybody were to figure it out, and I have permission to tell any story about somebody else beforehand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just one of those things, and he said if this can help somebody else,
Yeah.
that's fine by him.
Yeah, that's kinda why I like I mean, I told you before, like, I've been telling anybody who come on here, I'm like, "Hey, if you don't feel comfortable sharing anything, leave it out. You don't care. If you wanna leave people's names out, leave them out." You know?
Well, for anybody out there who's afraid of having to tell your story and tell everything it's the
Yeah.
worst thing, there is a thing that is the very worst thing that I ever did in my life, and I know exactly what it is. Do you know what it is?
Well,
I'm not gonna tell you
well.
because I don't have to,
Yeah, yeah.
and neither do you.
Yeah.
People out there, you don't have to tell everybody your whole thing. That's
Yeah,
not
you
the
don't have to
deal.
tell everybody your whole life, you
Now
know?
here's the deal. I have.
Yeah.
I've said the worst thing that I've done in my life, and I've said it in a meeting
Yeah.
in front of
I've
about 60 or 70, something like that, 70 people without shame
yeah.
because I've gone beyond that. But the deal is you don't have to. And I'm not going to say it now. Why should I say it now? Because then I'm going to undermine the fact that you don't need to say it. You
Yeah.
don't need to say it. You
Yeah.
don't. I mean, some things, there's a couple things out there that, for one reason or another, I mean, it's not the worst thing that I did, but there's a couple things out there that I've told my sponsors, a couple of my sponsors, and my wife. My wife knows pretty much everything, but there's some things that I just haven't said because I didn't find them to be useful
Yeah,
in the process. I mean, why? I mean, when I tell my story is to be there to help other people.
yeah.
It's so that they can, you know.
Yeah, there's certain things I won't disclose. I mean, like, when it comes to the forefront of my mind, you know, am I willing? I mean, I'm willing to, doesn't mean I have to, right?
Right?
Yeah,
And on top of that, you just also have to remember that in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, it's a very good thing to know what the statute of limitations are on some things.
yeah,
And by the way, I do.
yeah.
I punched a cop in the shoulder, said, "Catch you later, buckaroo." I thought it would be embarrassing to him, and then I continued to walk, and it's kind of pieced together after because other people told me. They walked up to my friends, like, "Who was that guy?" My friend said I'd known him for a long time, and he goes, "I've never seen him a day before in my life." He said, "He was talking to you." He was drunk. He was talking to everybody.
Yeah.
"That's it. I'm going to arrest him." And he came looking for me. This was at a hotel, and I'm in the elevator, and I'm watching it. He walked by, and he's a bit of a distance away. He walked by. He's looking back and forth, and I'm like, "I wonder who he's looking for." Get on the and in this he got on the elevator, went up to the bedroom, and passed out. Now, here's the thing, I know the statute of limitations. It is well past that because this happened in 1987. We're done past. I checked.
Yeah,
So, I'm not gonna say something that's gonna put me in jail or harm me. I mean, I
yeah,
don't really didn't have much of anything that, well, other than the DUIs. Anybody driving by 2 police stations drunk going like this because you're seeing double with 2 eyes, that's not good. Statute of limitations in any state that I've done that in has passed. I can talk about it safely. And, on top of that, and I remember one that night when I passed to 2 police stations like that, I started seeing double out of one eye.
mm,
So I made the intelligent move to remove the it was like a kaleidoscope.
mhm.
And I'm like, "Okay, 2 is good, just drive down the middle, drive down the middle." So,
Yeah, how do you know
this
what the miller is when you see all that?
I don't know, well, it works for guns too. If you're
Yeah,
gonna have to shoot
just hold
somebody,
it
aim for
straight.
the guy in the middle.
Yeah,
So, no, I didn't, yeah, so it's not like you have to say something that's gonna put you in prison. It's not like you have to say something that you're gonna take with you to the grave.
yeah,
Though I have found that there are certain things, um, that it was beneficial. One of the things that I found was very beneficial, and this was the amends I wanted to make the most. My first sponsor said it was okay because, well, she's a big girl. She knew what she was doing. Basically, I manipulated the hell out of this woman to have sex with her. I took her virginity,
yeah,
and that's a horrible thing because the next guy she was with, she married. And when he died, you know, many years later. And of course, he was a good friend of mine too. So I lost 2 friends for the price of 1 for being so manipulative.
yeah,
But I found it to be, and my first sponsor was like, "Oh, she's a big girl. She knows what she's doing." I went through the steps again. And I find it's very beneficial to do the steps again. And especially when I did my sexual inventory, it was with my sponsor who was a woman. She was in her 80s at the time. She's passed now, but she was in her 80s. And when I told her that bit, she basically told me that I was not to make an amends to that woman. I was not to talk to that man. They were better off living without such a miserable bastard such as myself. Because here's the deal. As a woman, she had a past and she knew how things were and and what men did that. Not only that, she had sponsored hundreds of other women. She'd been sober for a very long time.
yeah,
And she saw the devastation that when other men did it to the women she sponsored, she saw the devastation that happened in their lives and how they felt.
yeah,
So I got a very di and I That one was one I didn't quite listen to my sponsor for because he says, "Yeah, you can make an amends," and I didn't because it didn't feel right. And when she gave me that answer, it felt right. And the thing is, here's the funny part: that is the amends I want to make the most. I really want to be, and I have planned out exactly what I am to say. It is exactly what I am to say. Unless I'm interruption, then you got to go with it. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
So, but I'm willing. And her husband who's passed, I was more than willing with him. I really wanted to make that amends with him too, because I did him harm
Yeah.
and in a few other ways too, but that one in particular. So, um, going through the steps a second time was very helpful because I got, not only did I get a second perspective, but I also remembered things a little bit more clearly. Now, what is the one thing when we go through the steps the first time? It's called the gift.
Yeah.
Gift
Gift
of
of
desperation,
desperation. Yeah.
right? What's that?
Got
Fear.
uh,
That is fear.
yeah.
We're afraid. It is desperate. We are desperate. We can't live like that anymore. We're afraid of that life.
Yeah.
And we go forward with it. So we go through the steps. And when we go through the steps the first time, it's with fear. Now, I'm not putting that down. I'm not putting that down in the slightest. I did the same thing and it did me a world of good. Changed my life. Hey, sober almost 20 years later, right?
Yeah.
Changed my life. It was a wonderful experience. But what if I told you that you can have a completely new experience going through the 12 steps without fear? You don't have, because fear can be, whether it's makes things shadowy and you kind of imagine things that are a
Yeah.
little bit different, or it can completely block you from it where you just can't see the problem because the problem is behind what you can't see, which is the fear that's blocking it. If you can go through the steps a second time, and that's what I did. I went through the steps a second and a third time. I went where I looked. I mean, I go through a yearly inventory every year where I look at the past year.
Yeah.
I do that. That's just part of what, of course, doing the daily. Uh, not as many times written down as I should,
Yeah.
but you do that daily inventory. By the way, when you see it written down in your own hand, you're like, why do I keep doing the same thing day and day? Betrayed by your own hand
Yeah.
because you wrote it all down, right? But if you can go through the inventory and look back at your life again and you can do it without having the fear that you had the first time, you see it differently and you have a brand new experience. The biggest one was that experience that I had with my sponsor and talking about that woman that I took her virginity,
Yeah.
right? That was huge. That was huge. And I also did uh, I did some of that with the fifth step going, and I did it with a priest. Fantastic man, fantastic man. Love that guy. I mean, he's a very good priest. And when I went through it, I got something that I was completely not expecting. He granted me absolution.
Mm.
Now, if you're not Catholic and you don't understand, absolution's a pretty big thing. If you are Catholic, you understand absolution's a pretty big
I
thing.
don't even know what absolution is.
It means that I am absolved of the past sins. I am to move forward,
Mhm.
and I am now able to accept the sacraments in the church, where I was unable to accept the sacraments before because I was, for lack of a better term, we'll just say unclean.
Yeah.
Okay, and it came with two contingencies. Now, tell me that a non-alcoholic doesn't understand AA because he did. The two things was he gave me a prayer ritual that I had to perform for a certain amount of time, which I happily did. The second thing is he said this: you are to continue to go to Alcoholics Anonymous for the rest of your life and help other alcoholics find God. He understood. And I think it was God guiding his voice because he didn't say find Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
because some people aren't going to do it. Why? Because, well, Jew's not a Christian. Why? Because they believe in Judaism.
Yeah.
A Muslim's a Muslim. They're not going to believe in Christ. Why? because they're Muslim. I mean, it's just what
Yeah.
they are. I mean, it's how they believe. I can't control that. But the thing is, they've turned their back on God. And he even gave me permission, and I've done this to a great many people. And I asked him, I said, "Are you offended by the crucifix?" No. Are you offended by, Jesus at all? No. Okay. I've given out so many rosaries and taught them to pray the AA way with a rosary. I say it's the AA way. It's my way, really. But what I do is I tell them it's like on the short beads, right?
Mhm.
You say the Serenity Prayer, and then on the beads that are closer together, it's Our Father, Our Father, Our Father. You say that, and you go all the way around the rosary,
Yeah.
right? And I asked him, I said, "I'm giving it to non-Catholics. Is that okay?" He says, "Are they praying?" I said, "Yeah, give it to them."
Yeah.
So he understood, So now I have 2 life sentences. I have the actual life sentence where I have to continue with this life of sobriety or, face an alcoholic death. And I have one, from the priest. That's heavily dependent on my spirituality, is that I need to continue to go to Alcoholics Anonymous and help other people find God,
Yeah.
other alcoholics specifically, because we have that gift.
Yeah. Uniquely qualified.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and, oh, you asked me a question too about the drugs. Um, this is something that has crossed my mind many times. I don't even know if I'm an addict,
Yeah.
because since I know that just about everybody, you give them enough cocaine, they're gonna get that physical addiction.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when they get off of it, a lot of them who go get that physical addiction say, "I'm never touching that crap again,"
Yeah.
because it
You don't have the obsession.
and they don't have the obsession. But the thing is, they're the other potions, pills, powders, and other volatile substances, since they've never entered my body, I don't know if I have the mental obsession for any of them.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I also look at it this way, because and I know that, and for some reason, there's a lot of people who have a problem where they think, "Oh, he's just an alcoholic. He's not an addict. He's going to be a snob towards me." Well, the thing is, how can I be a snob towards somebody that I don't know if I'm like them or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, it's just the way to look at it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea whether I'd be a cokehead or a crackhead or
Yeah.
a heroin. I don't even know the names of these drugs.
Yeah. So fentanyl head or
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
very high. Yeah, there's going to be an FA soon enough.
Yeah. You know it's unattractive when an alcoholic who solely ever drank is bitter to drug addicts trying to get sober. It's very unattractive. It's like I'm like we're all sinners. We're all broken people.
Yeah, well, there's addicts who have attitude problems too.
Exactly.
Everybody's got it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm like, I understand the reasoning behind, but I'm like, you know, people in AA that are solely alcoholic, there's like 10%. I would say, like, who are like
Well,
you.
I don't know, because I've had a sponsee that he did a lot of crack.
Yeah,
He did a lot of crack cocaine, and what happened was he went to rehab for crack cocaine and alcoholism.
yeah.
He could drop the crack, he did, and he just dropped it, and he didn't want it ever again, and he could stop drinking, and he had to go back to rehab
But how
again for
many?
drinking.
But I'm saying, like, how many people in your experience has only done alcohol?
Well, the thing is here's the deal. I don't really I really don't care.
I know you
No,
don't
no,
care, but
no. Here's the reason. Here's the reason. I don't care what your ANDA is.
yeah,
You're welcome in Alcoholics Anonymous. If you're an alcoholic and an addict,
yeah,
okay, fine. I went to a meeting. I mean,
yeah,
these people are freaking nuts. They went around. Every single person had an ANDA,
yeah.
and one of them says, "I'm an alcoholic and I'm black." And me, Mr. Smartass, this is what I said. I knew it.
Yeah,
And it got to me. I said,
I'm an alcoholic and I'm white.
I said, "My name is James. I'm an alcoholic and I have no Andes.
Yeah,
I have no Andes."
yeah, yeah.
I did not make any friends at that meeting. but but the thing is, I mean, we take it to alcoholics and addicts take things to the extreme on so many things.
Yeah,
Everything's just so extreme.
yeah,
So
that's why we
I
have
don't
a
care. Look,
eh,
you know who's coming in next?
what about Jaywalker, the Jaywalker story?
Okay, you know, you're gonna have somebody coming in going, "Hey, I'm an alcoholic and I'm a transsexual." Okay, welcome. I don't care.
Yeah,
And I'm gay. Okay, I don't care. And I'm Chinese. I don't care.
yeah.
If somebody comes in and they're an alcoholic, I don't care what they're I'm an alcoholic and a thief and a liar. Okay, well, I think you just said alcoholic, but that's okay. It doesn't it see
And I'm a piece of shit.
what alcoholic, okay. We know
Yeah,
we all have been and we've all done
yeah.
these things. So for me, why does it matter? It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think it matters either.
I mean, the
I'm
thing
just
is,
saying for those people who do.
here's the thing. I just don't like it when somebody they'll come in and they say, "Hey, I'm in an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting and identify as an addict." And they're doing it because they're not an alcoholic. See, Alcoholics Anonymous is not a permanent home for an addict.
Mm,
Did I say that they're not welcome? No.
mm,
Here's the thing, and I've dealt with people who have no problem with alcohol. They are not addicted to alcohol, but they're addicts in other ways. Best thing I can do for them is to find somebody that had their problem. Because and I've run across it before. There are people who are addicts who have a way of thinking that I just don't get. It's not that I'm stupid.
yeah,
It's not that I don't have an addiction.
you just don't understand it.
I just don't understand that
Yeah,
particular line of thought. And the thing is, I can't help somebody as well. And I've been very good at finding people and the thing and a lot of them. And by the way, CA is a wonderful organization. A lot of the people that I've listened to speak also speak at CA, which is
yeah,
Cocaine Anonymous. What they do is they take the big book as written,
yeah.
but they use it for all addictions. Okay, rock on. That's what you want to do. Keep on going. I've gone to open.
Or DA, right? Drug Addicts Anonymous?
Yeah, I haven't been to that one, so I don't know anything. But I have been to Narcotics Anonymous, and the only reason why I went is because I knew some people, just different times, not at the same time.
Yeah,
But I knew some different people that were afraid to go to an NA meeting, but they knew me because I went to the rehabs and I dealt with them. And so what happened was I went to the meeting with them so that they'd have somebody there with their first one.
yeah,
And then they could start to feel a little bit more comfortable. But I didn't share because their tradition is it's for addicts. So I didn't share because I'm not addicted to what
yeah.
narcotics.
You don't know if you.
I don't know if I am, but
Yeah,
yeah, and if I don't know if I am, then I better shut up.
yeah. We want to respect their tradition.
I need to respect their
Yeah,
traditions. I have to.
yeah,
I need to honor their traditions. So that's what I do. I sit down, shut up, and listen, and sit there with my friend. And I'll do it again. I won't go to a closed meeting of Narcotics Anonymous because that's against their tradition.
yeah,
It's respect
yeah,
and it's doing the right thing. So, and I tell you, I mean, I've seen people go through quite a bit with it too. And my heart goes out to them, but I want them to find the help that they can get. And I do the same thing with women. I am not going to sponsor a woman.
yeah,
And as a matter of fact, with Peg, my sponsor, who was a woman, she explained it in a very good way. We went to a meeting where Peg was to pick up year 38 yeah, year her 38 year medallion. So I went there with her and everything. And this woman, when she goes, I thought it's supposed to be men with the men and women with the women. And Peg, all 4'11" of her, bent over with a cane, white hair. I have to do is slap some green makeup on and some ears, and I had Yoda as a sponsor. She was awesome, man. She was strong in the ways of sobriety. But anyway, she said, "Let me explain something to you, honey. The reason why it's men with the men and women with the women is so that there's no sexual confusion. I am 86 years old. If he's sexually confused with me, the man is sicker than I thought."
Mhm. Yeah,
But that was the deal. So at the beginning, especially, I would not sponsor a woman.
yeah.
There's just no way because she needs to be able to get some help, and women are very good at manipulation.
What about a lesbian woman?
No, because there's too many lesbians that have gone straight later. So
What if she's like 40 years older than you, and she's a lesbian?
if she's 40 years older than me, I will have a conversation with my wife, and
Okay,
she will more than likely say
what about
yes.
20 years old? 20 years older?
I will have that conversation with my wife. Honor,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
honor her. I will honor her.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm on my third marriage. I ain't messing this one up.
yeah. I can't sponsor any woman because my fiance doesn't want me to. I'm like, "What about
Well,
the lesbian?" They're like she's like, "No." I'm like, "Alright, I won't sponsor them, but if somebody wants me to help them work the steps,
well,
I'll
here's the
work the
thing.
steps."
This is what I've done in the past, and I've done it very well. I guide them to other women,
Yeah, I do that
and
too.
I
Yeah,
guide them to women that I respect, and I watch out for them and I try to think of them as a daughter. That's how I work it in my head,
yeah,
and I've done it before. I mean, and like one example, we'll just use this one example. This one woman, beautiful woman, um, very sordid past. Um, and she was really trying to get sober, and I mean, the guys were sniffing around her like you wouldn't believe. Beautiful woman, I mean, stunningly beautiful.
yeah,
And this was what I would do. Some guy would come up, try to talk some stuff with her, try to smooth talk. I would slot. I embarrassed the hell out of myself when I was drunk. I might as well embarrass myself when I'm sober and just completely ignore all social cues.
yeah,
Would slide in between her and him, shake his hand, say, "Hey," and hold on to his hand. "Hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in the meetings before. My name is James. I'm an alcoholic. Who are you? What's your name?" And while she's running the other way, this guy's sitting here trying to look past me like, oh man, oh no, I got to talk to this guy.
Mhm.
I'd run interference for her,
Oh, okay.
you know? And I never hit on her once. I never flirted with her once. And I've done this with a number of women. It's just this one I'm thinking of. It helps
Yeah,
me tell the story. But and last I saw, she had 2 years sobriety and she moved back up to Jersey.
nice.
But the thing is, and I even warned her, I remember one day in particular, um, she had a friend of hers that was dating this guy, and all the women were like, "Oh, look, he's so hot." Right? So I walked up to her and said, "Hey, hon, I need to talk to you about something. I need to give you a warning." Says, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, your friend over there?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "That's one of your best friends, right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You need to protect yourself. There's a 90 some percent chance. I don't know whether it's 91 or 99% chance she's going to go out. And when she goes out, it's going to be ugly." She says, "What do you mean?" I said, "You see that guy she's with?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "She's paying attention to him. She's not paying attention to her sobriety. She's, chances are she's going to lose connection. She's going to get drunk. And you better not be anywhere near her when it happens." Because they were living in the longer term suburb.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What
What they used to call the nut huts because
yeah,
they were small huts. But anyway, so she heard that, and she took it to heart, and one day, her friend showed up at the nut huts, bombed out of her mind, caused a big scene, and this young lady ran into her room, closed the door, and locked it. I can't be anywhere near that.
yeah,
So the best thing I can do is guide them to other women, and well, you know what it's like, you go into a rehab or something, they see you, they know you, they trust you a little bit more.
yeah,
So they come to you. The best thing that I've done is just guide them to another woman, and I've said and it's kind of funny because that's how I got Peg as a sponsor because, I walked up, I had to walk up and say, "By the way, these 2 women, this is Joanne," which was Peg's sponsor, "and this is Peg. If I was a woman, one of these 2 women would be my sponsor. They're wonderful people to talk to." And then I'd walk away. Joanne would say, "Well, get the operation and we'll talk."
mhm,
And Peg one time turned around, she says, "Well, if you want me as a sponsor, I'll sponsor you." I was looking at the time. I'm like, "Okay."
mhm,
and we had 8 years as her being my sponsor. It was wonderful.
That's what's up.
So, but basically, that's what I need to do is I need to learn how to help other people and know that I'm not the be all and end all. Let the hand of AA always be there. It doesn't have to be my hand.
Yeah,
That's arrogance talking if it has to be me.
yeah,
And I've seen so many guys, they'll come up and they'll give a new woman a big book. What about the guy standing next to her that also said he was new?
yeah, yeah. I only go up to the guys. Rarely people will be like, "Oh, he can sponsor you," and this happened like a couple of months ago with some females. I'm like, "No, I can't sponsor you." I'm like,
Well, there's a number of reasons, and it goes back and forth on whether you can
yeah.
sponsor or whatever. I have
Well, I mean, before I was with my fiance, I sponsored women. I mean, I had a, a lesbian girl younger than me too.
well,
She's
all lesbians are girls.
yeah, yeah. I mean, younger girl. I would say younger.
I gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha,
So
gotcha.
and I sponsored her. I mean, frankly, doing that taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about women, you know, and the things and the pain that they've gone through and the abuse that they've had to endure in active addiction. And
Right. Well,
it gave me a very good perspective.
and
And
you also have to be careful too, and this is something to consider with a
yeah,
woman, is a lot of time a woman will look for somebody that they think can save them.
yeah,
And that's not really,
yeah.
yeah, because they're thinking
Well,
more than sponsorship.
she didn't ask me to be her sponsor at the time.
Oh,
Like,
no, I'm not judging. I'm
yeah,
not judging.
no, I
That's
inserted
not
myself. I'm like, I will be your sponsor until you find
somebody, yeah,
yeah.
somebody better.
Yeah, somebody who has, no dick. But but
If you
anyways,
wish. But seriously,
yeah,
and this is the way that I've done it. And actually, this just happened at a meeting, where there was a woman who was pretty, she wasn't new, but she had been in and out, and, um, I felt it's this happens a bit because I pray, said a short prayer because, when I hear some of these people talk, I can feel their pain,
yeah,
and I do say a short prayer for them. I mean, because I hear what they're saying, and sometimes it hurts when you hear some of it. Sometimes it hurts. And I said a short prayer, and I looked up, and I saw this other woman, and, at the end of the meeting, I walked up and I said, "Oh, by the," and because the woman wasn't going very fast. There was a couple reasons for it, but I walked up to her and I said, I know that you understand what it's like to feel guided." She said, "Yeah." I'm talking about by God. She said, "Yeah." I said, "I've been guided to tell you, you need to talk to that woman. It's you." And she said, "Somebody just handed me the phone list and told me that I needed to hand it to her." I said, "Yeah, 2 people telling you God that it's a God thing, right?"
yeah,
Boom, she went right over. Now, whether or not anything comes out of it, that's none of my business. Whether she stays sober for the rest of her life, it ain't my business. It ain't my credit. I had
yeah,
nothing to do with it. I said a prayer. I looked at somebody. I said, I feel guided. Do it.
yeah,
And I'm usually pretty good with that. it's funny. I think I've set people up with more sponsors that have stayed sober than I've sponsored that have stayed sober. Maybe, maybe, well, matchmaker, find me a match. I don't know.
yeah.
I could be. Don't know.
Well, I'm glad that you came by, James, and, let's do this again sometime.
No problem. Because I tell you what, when we both talk again, we'll still be different people.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Well, thanks. That's all we got.
And God bless.
God bless.